Welcome to the Jacksonville Momcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the real stories of local Jacksonville moms. Sponsored by Jacksonville Beach Moms, each month we'll cover topics to help you navigate mom life on the First Coast. Thanks for joining us as we tackle all things motherhood and more with a focus on the 904.
Welcome. We are here with Melissa Munsell, and Melissa is the mom behind Cover It. And so, Melissa, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I was born and raised in Jacksonville. So I'm a native and absolutely love it. I'm a mom of two, wife, daughter, sister-in-law, sister, all the things. And, family is number one important to me. This business is something that I've dreamt about and prayed about for a long time. So I'm very excited that it finally all came to fruition and I'm able to get it out there to moms and dads and grandparents and whoever needs them.
And so tell us a little bit about your business, Cover It.
Sure. So it is a disposable baby changing station cover. So it fits all public restroom changing stations. It's a non-woven fabric on the top, which has a fun little beach sort of print on it for the kids to look at. And there's a PE film on the back. So anything that's on the station, germs, bacteria, if there's anything wet or icky, it won't penetrate through and get onto your baby while you're changing them. And it's totally disposable. So you just ball it up with your diaper and throw it away when you're done. And it's biodegradable, so it's good for our environment. And you don't have to take any, of those germs home with you. That was, I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old little girls. And that was always the worst part for me, is going to the public restroom changing station to change them. I mean, they have, the cute little things that come with your diaper bag that you can use, but it barely fits the baby on it when you use it. And if your kids are anything like mine, they definitely don't sit still or lay still while you're changing them, so they can touch anything around there. And so I always thought there has to be something out there that covers this changing station to keep, babies from getting germs on them, and from, even as a parent, standing up next to it, having to lean on or touch any part of that. I was always using more wipes, cleaning the changing station and my pad afterwards than I did when I was changing the girls. So, years and years went by, still always thought about it. And then COVID hit. And that's honestly when all of this kind of came out of me and actually giving me the drive to do it. And my family was 100% supportive of me and saying, and honestly, like staying home all of that time and not being able to go out. What do? You watch TV, you watch movies. And we used to watch Shark Tank all the time. And it was all these other, entrepreneurs doing all these things. And I'm like, why? I really think I can do this. And then, of course, my whole family was supportive and they're like, yes, you can do it. And so, we contacted a patent attorney and there was nothing out there. And so I went for it. And, I'm still patent pending right now, but my design, it can't be, used by anybody else. I'm just waiting for that little certificate, so I don't have to put patent pending on anything anymore. It's actually patent. So that's just how it came out. And it has little double-sided pieces of tape on the back so it secures to the station, and so the baby can't yank it down, and it fits like an apron in the front so the parents don't get dirty while changing the baby. And it's been something important to me because I'm not scared of germs. I'm a mom, I teach, I get all of those fun things. But it just was important to me to have my baby change somewhere that I felt was safe and didn't have a lot of germs. So that's really why how it all came to be. So
That is a great story. And I think every mom who's tried to change a little one out in public knows exactly what you're talking about. One of the things I love about your product, when I was looking at some of the pictures and the videos of it, were how nice and oversized it is. So it's not like you're trying to fit like a tiny little 8.5 by 11 square in the middle of your changing thing. They're very generously sized because anybody knows, a lot of times you get your standard flip down changing table, but not always. Like sometimes you're changing kids in like the weirdest places. So talk us through a little bit about your process for like designing it and you mentioned a couple of the great features, but what were some of the things that were like really important for you to make sure that Cover It had on it, when you were going through the design process?
Sure. So I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just white, that it had something for the kids to look at because, they, like I said, they don't just lay there and lay still. They're not sleeping most of the time when you put them on there. So just something to keep their attention diverted to something else, not having their diaper changed. So something fun for them to look at. That was important for me. Being gender neutral, colors, pictures, that was important. So, if you had a boy or a girl, or making sure that it was something that was for everybody, and making sure it was soft because you don't want to lay your baby on something plastic, and then making sure it was good for our environment. And I can't tell you how long it took me. I tried to find, of course, someone here in the US to make it, and I'm still trying to do that, as we speak. So I did just started researching online, and I can't even believe it myself sometimes. Sometimes my family's like, I can't believe you actually like called people and tried to find out information. But they were made over in China, and I went through, my brother gave me a website to look at, Alibaba, and I just found someone through there and was able to send specifics. And you mentioned, and I mentioned how large it is. So that was important to me because there's no changing station. There's several different sizes and of changing stations. Like, for example, in Nordstrom, they have, they don't have the flip down ones. They have just the pad. And I wanted to make sure that it fit everything. So I made them very oversized. And then just making sure there was a way to secure it to the station so that the baby couldn't pull it down, that was important. And it was just a long process of, I still have the notepads of drawings that I would make and, trying out what I thought was different, pictures to put on there. And, the beach is, we love going to the beach as a family, to the beach and the pool. So I thought that's, that would be a fun print to put on there. So I found that print, and, it's all come from the heart and trying to help others. Cause, my kids are out of diapers now, but, now I have a little 2-month-old nephew, and he's my new cover model. He's the new Cover It model for us. So it's super fun to have that too. So just being able to help other people not have the same fears that I had walking into the big bad changing station.
And I know your products are available on your website, and we'll definitely put that in our show notes. Yes. Where else can people find Cover It?
Right now we are just on my website and Amazon. We are in talks with Bye Bye Baby. So, and I have a big it's called ABC Kids Expo. It's in Las Vegas in May. And so we'll be going to that. So that's super fun, very exciting. I'm a little nervous, but
very exciting. Is that your first trade show?
It's my first big trade show. I've done things like the Nocatee Farmers Market and some other little things, but nothing on the grand scale.
That's exciting. I can't wait to hear how that goes. So we mentioned there are some other changing pads on the market. Mm-hmm. What are, you talked a little bit about some of those great features, but what are some things that really set Cover It apart from other products you might find?
I think the biggest things that set us apart are the fact that it does cover the whole entire changing station. And that's what my patent is for. Basically, it's disposable and that it covers the whole entire changing station. So that's what kind of separates it apart from other brands that are just, the little rectangular, or even if I know some of my friends have said before, they're like, thank God, because I give them out to my friends. So they always have them. And they said, thank goodness, because they were using doggy changing pads because they were a little bit bigger. Now, granted, they still don't cover the whole thing, but they cover a little bit more of the bottom surface. But then again, baby's touching the wall and the back of the changing station. So that's what kind of separates us apart, in the fact that it secures to the station and that it's good for the environment. It's biodegradable.
That's
So
great
it's
that
also
it's
recyclable, but the fact that you're not going to take that home and put it in your recycling bin. So I also wanted to make sure that it was okay for the trash can.
That's great. I didn't realize they were biodegradable, so that's a great feature. Okay, so you're, in addition to designing your own diaper changing station cover, you're also, like you mentioned, a mom. You got a lot going on, and you're also working this year at your child's school, or your children's school, I should say, as a permanent sub, which, bless your heart, because as we were chatting before we started, we know everybody is desperate for substitute teachers right now. So good for you. But what is that like, balancing, essentially a full-time job with another full-time job?
Right.
And just making time for all those little things that require your attention as an entrepreneur.
Sure. I mean, it's definitely a lot, but I'm one of those, I don't like just sitting around not doing anything. I'm constantly on the move with something, and I love being at the girls' school. So that's definitely, a good thing for me. I was strictly a stay-at-home mom for almost 5 years when my youngest was born. And it's just, if I didn't have my family, I wouldn't be able to do it. I have a very supportive husband that works very hard and has supported me the whole way through all of this. And then my parents, actually, we live with my parents. We all live together. So it's kind of multi-generational home that we have, and 100% could not do it without them. I mean, my mom is up in the morning. We have our morning meeting in the meeting. So we both get up at 5:00, get ready, and we have our coffee and a little, our little mom and daughter time in the mornings before the girls get up. And, she helps me get them ready. And as we're running out the door, she's running behind us. I mean, the girls can't get in the car and say bye for the day without Nana being there. So my business is definitely a family business, but it's kind of a woman owned. I want it to be a woman owned business. So it's my mom, my cousin Ashley, and I who kind of, do the daily runnings of it. And orders are packaged and packed at my house on the dining room table and sent. So, we all work together, and we couldn't do it without each other. So I definitely couldn't do it without them.
And working so close with family, can be such a blessing, but there also can be a little friction sometimes. How do you guys do with that? Like, are you good about separating like business stuff with just your normal family stuff? And I'm sure living together adds a whole nother layer to that, discussion, but how does that work out for you guys?
It kind of all just gets mixed up together. And, we've always been a very close family. And so it's just kind of second nature for us. It's not neither one is a big deal with working, with home life things and work life things. It kind of all goes together. A nice little mix, nice little dance.
That's amazing, because I'm sure there are people listening that are like, oh, I could never. So that's so great to see that you guys are just, one big happy family and running a business.
Yeah.
As a mom and a business owner and, a full-time sub, there's obviously you can't do everything yourself. And I know you have a lot of help from your family. How do you decide what you want to delegate and what is like your baby that you don't want to give up? Do you have certain things in the business that you're like, that's me, I'm going to do that, I need it to be a certain way? And is there, how do you go about that process? Because you obviously can't do it all.
Right. No. And delegating has always been a hard thing for me because, you always want to do it all. But definitely, talking with vendors or businesses, that's kind of something that I have taken on my own. My mom definitely helps like package up orders and sends them out and things like that. But I guess if I had to say one thing I would really keep close to myself and only do would be maybe talking to companies or talking for actual business decisions would be something that I would keep to myself, but everything else is pretty much a shared thing.
That's great. That's great that you can share the responsibility like that. That's so important. Is your mom going with you to the trade show?
No, actually my cousin's going with me. So yes. And excellent. I'm thinking I'm going to try and pull my brother in a little bit because he's very well spoken and he knows kind of a little bit more of the industry and things like that. So
that's great. Well, and it's great that your mom can be at home to help with the daily, all that other stuff.
I'm thinking I might try and get my husband to come and bring the girls for a little vacation. Not really vacation for me, but at least for them.
Yeah.
Because when we leave, it's on May 2nd and that's my oldest daughter's birthday. So did not want to leave her here for that.
Very nice. Well, good. Hopefully the whole family can go. So let's talk a little bit about COVID. I know that was kind of like the catalyst that started your brain, running with ideas. We also watched a ton of Shark Tank during COVID. So I think that's funny that you said that because our family got all hooked on it. We, however, did not invent anything. So good for you. So on one hand, we weren't going anywhere. Like you mentioned, there was a lot more time at home, but on the other hand, like when things kind of opened up, I feel like there was a whole new awareness of germs in your personal space and what you're touching and having hand sanitizer on you. And, we keep a bottle in the car for the kids as soon as they get out of school and jump in the car, they use the hand sanitizer. Like we didn't have, we're pretty health conscious people, but we didn't have that before COVID. So do you see, when you were doing your research and kind of coming up with it, did you see or foresee, I guess I should say, that there was going to be a need for a product like that?
So to be honest with you, I thought as soon as it came out, it was just going to fly off the shelves. But it didn't really happen that way. It definitely has picked up in the last, I would say 6 months, maybe. I've seen an increase in sales, but I think that is attributed to people actually going out more and feeling a little bit more comfortable because I thought, wow, this is like the perfect timing that I thought of all this. And, it's when you're starting something up, it's such a process and you feel like, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever. And things just kind of moved for me with, finding a manufacturer and getting it here. But then it just kind of sat and sat and sat. And granted, it's been a little bit more organic. It's just been me kind of handing it out to friends or, doing things like that. So, not to where we're in the big box store where someone can just walk by and grab it and go type of situation. So, and then it's kind of a process to get on Amazon. It's not all as easy as you think, but definitely within the last 6 months, I've seen an increase in sales. And I think it is, like I said, it's just because more people are going out. When COVID first happened, yes, we weren't going anywhere. And so I'm not sure I would have taken my baby into a public restroom and changed them when all of that happened. So I feel like people will now. And I feel like if they have my product, they might a little bit more. It's like I said before, it's been on my heart to give. And I just want to get it out there for people to be able to use and feel comfortable and feel safe to go into the changing stations and change something that's, you know, so precious to them, whether they waited, you know, 9 years and finally it happened and they have a baby, whether it's natural or adoption or however you know, get your little precious bundle, you want to protect them from anything and everything that you can. And this is just an extra thing that they can use to have that protection, I think.
I love it. I love it. And I love that we're going to talk a second. I know you're working on some rebranding and some packaging stuff, so I want to touch on that. But one of the things I love about your product is that they are individually packaged. And so you can just always have one in your diaper bag at all times. Like you don't, you know,
Right.
you obviously buy a case or a package, but like
Right.
you don't need to take all of them. You just need one
Right.
because statistically
and
your child will need a diaper change.
Right. And that was important to me too, because sometimes you just don't want to throw things in your diaper bag, or, you know, maybe you just grab a diaper and a little pack of wipes and you grab one of these and you can just go into the changing station and you don't have to worry about it getting all, you know, they're folded up really nicely. Like you said, they're individually packed. So it's just ease of use when you're on the go, because when we're a mom, a dad, a grandparent, or whatever, you have so much stuff with a baby anyway. So this is just, you know, one of those things you just throw it in there and when you need it, you have it.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't get
Yeah. And I was thinking, I have older children, and so we're way out of diapers, but I swear they used to have blowouts in the car all the time. And I remember pulling my daughter out of her car seat and trying to like lay her in the back of my van to change her, and not having anything to put her on. And like, I didn't want like poop all over my van carpet. And so I just am like, oh, that would have solved that problem as well.
Well, yes. So I actually have had a few friends that have done that. They've put them in their trunks and changed. And then I have a lot of friends who are genius too. And, you know, you don't want to you have enough laundry at your house to begin with. So, you know, you always have like something on your changing pad that you can wash if it gets, you know, pee or poop on it. So some of my friends were cutting them in like fourths or even smaller than that and just using it on their changing pad at home. So if the baby did have a really blowout, messy diaper, they would just have that on there. And then they're like, well, I didn't have to go wash my changing pad. I just had yours under there and then threw it away when I threw away the diaper. So
that is
it has
smart.
I use. And my kids, when I first was inventing this and got a bunch of samples of them, my girls would go put them on their art station and color in all the little pictures. Well, that's perfect. You just cut it and take it with you to the restaurant and have a little activity. So
absolutely,
you know, I love to find multiple uses for things.
That's awesome. So I know that you worked and did some donations for the Jacksonville Diaper Bank. We've had her on our show. It's such an amazing organization. How important is it to you to be, you know, kind of ingrained in your community and to give back, especially when it comes to being a business owner?
Sure. I mean, I've been volunteering, I want to say my whole life, but it's been a long, long time. Something I like to boast about, I guess, a little bit is I've graduated high school with the most volunteer hours. So, but it's always something that I love to do. I love to give back. I love to give. We donate as a family. We, you know, package up. My girls love packing up bags for treats for homeless people. So if we see someone, we give them a little brown bag. And it's just, sometimes I feel like I wouldn't have the things that I have if I wasn't willing to give of myself. And whether that be things, time, whatever it may be, I just think that's something important to do. And I think it's something important that I like to teach my girls and donate. When I saw the diaper drive come up, it was just something I felt in my heart that I had to do. And what good is it if it's not out there? Whether someone buys it or I donated it, it doesn't matter. It's out there for someone to use that needs it.
That's great. That's a great philosophy. and wise words. And I would be telling everybody that I graduated with the most volunteer hours if that was me, just so you know. You should talk about that more. That is that's important. That's more important than being valedictorian. Having the most volunteer hours. I love it. So what's been the hardest part for you when it comes to finding that balance, the balance between not just mom life and having your own business? Because I don't like asking that, because I feel like nobody asks dads that ever, but more the balance between, like we had talked about before, having, basically 2 full-time jobs. Like, what are some strategies you have that, kind of keep you sane in the middle of everything that's going on?
Sure. Plan. If I don't have a plan, I don't have it written down, it's not going to be done. It's going to be forgotten about, I'm sure. So definitely being able to have that and making sure that I'm getting everything done that I need to, or, it might be, I needed to pick up some more Dymo labels to send out some packaging. So I have to have, my mom or my husband or someone go out and get that. It's planning. And as much as I don't like to delegate, sometimes it's delegating, because if, I have, first of all, I'm a mom. So that, takes precedence over anything for me. So definitely having that, doing what I need to as a mom, then everything else comes next.
That's good.
But
good
definitely
answer.
a planner.
Are you, and I'm going to ask this because I had someone talk about like using Trello, which is like a digital planner type thing. And so now I'm always curious, are you more of a paper planner person, or do you have like digital resources that you use?
I like to write it down.
Okay. Me too. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I like to physically write it down, whether it's in my planner on my desk or on the calendar by the laundry room on the wall so everyone can see it. Sometimes it's both places.
Oh, we have multiple calendars on our house. So I'm team paper. So I'm glad to hear there's somebody else out there.
If I was 20, maybe I would be a digital, but I'm not.
Agreed. So let's talk a little bit about your rebranding and some of the stuff you've been working on. What do you guys have planned and how is that going? And just talk us through a little bit about that process, because you really haven't been on the market an exceptionally long time. So it's, you're already trying to adjust, obviously based on demand.
Right. And I think it's more just for me personally, what I wanted to be able to offer, because sometimes, especially if somebody wants to just try something out, maybe they don't want to buy a 10-pack of it. So I had to go back and think, maybe somebody would just want to buy a single. So I'm going to have singles offered. Maybe somebody, and we're going to do a single, a 5-pack, a 10, keep the 10-pack, and then possibly go a little bit bigger if, someone like a Costco or a Sam's would be interested in partnering, trying to offer something in, a little bit more of a bulk situation. But I just wanted to make sure that it was, kind of cost effective for anyone. So like I said, if they don't want to buy a 10-pack to start out with and feel like if they didn't like it, it was a waste for them. So that's kind of what we're doing. And keeping the same name, Cover It is the business name. And, it took a long time, it took, couple of weeks, kind of teetering on a month, to kind of figure out what I wanted it to be. Of course, lots of help from family. So we're going to keep that. It's going to be Cover It. Of course, there'll be disposable changing station covers, but kind of changing up the packaging a little bit to where it'll look a little bit more, we're kind of working on having the changing station with no cover on it as a picture, and then one with a cover on it on the front. So it's not just the words on there. So if you're just walking by casually and you see it and you're like, oh, a changing station, what's that? So it'll kind of have some images on there that'll be a little bit more friendly for people to know exactly what it is.
That's great. I love the way you're taking, you're learning as you go, and adjusting, because that's what you have to do to be successful. Right. Any other products on the horizon for you? Anything else like you've been thinking of, and you don't have to tell us if you want to keep them secret. That's okay. But
no, I do have another patent, and I'm kind of keeping that one close to the chest for just a little while longer. So, but I do have something else on the horizon. It's brewing out there.
That's
so
great.
I'm very excited about that. And it'll stay within the cover it stays within the, disposable brand. So definitely. And, I did want to also mention, I do sell on my website and Amazon, and I do local delivery. So if you don't want to pay for shipping and you're local to the area, I have it's on the website. You just click local pickup, and then I can drop it off to you.
That is fantastic for any moms in North Florida that are listening, because that's a great option. Sometimes I want to get something and I'm like, I really don't want to pay for shipping. So I love that. Have you thought about, or have you applied to go on Shark Tank?
Okay, so yes, I have thought about it, and I did just apply. So we shall see what happens. Fingers crossed, praying, hopeful. Whatever's going to happen happens, but I did apply.
Good for you. That's fantastic. Oh, I would love to see you on there. Although it's scary. Sometimes Shark Tank is scary. So,
and just one-on-one is a little nerve-wracking sometimes for me. So I can't imagine standing up there, but I would do whatever I needed to do for the business. So
that is awesome. Good for you. I'm sure your kids would love to see you on. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we kind of wrap it up?
No, I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to be on your podcast. And thank you for reaching out to do that. Else to add, just that, this has been on my heart, and I'm glad that I was able to do it. Supportive family that's by my side every step of the way. And, hopefully parents, whomever is changing a baby, can feel safe if they have a cover it with them. And I am going to start a little thing on the side. So I'm going to start leaving cover it's in restrooms, just like on the changing station. And then I'll have my little QR code from Instagram. And if you take a picture of cover it using it and post it, then I'll contact you and get you some free cover it's.
I love that idea.
Something, just to kind of get it out there, and something fun that hopefully it'll be fun. It was fun for me to think of. So hopefully other people will think it's fun. So
that is a great idea. I love that. So if you're a mom in Jacksonville, keep your eyes peeled when you head to the changing station, because that is such a great idea. All right. Well, I ask everybody, what is your favorite thing about being a mom in Jacksonville?
Oh gosh. I think just being able to go out. We live in such a great area that has, nice weather. We love going to the zoo, love going to the beach and the pool. And I think just that, being able to be out with my girls and meeting other people and having them experience, different things around town is fun for us.
It is a great city to be able to get out there and do stuff. There's always something going on in Jacksonville.
There is.
All right. Well, tell everybody where they can find you.
Sure. So you can find me on my website. It's coveritinc.net. And then on Amazon, you just type in the search bar. You can type Cover It disposable baby changing station cover, and you'll see my picture pops up. It changes on where it's at, but it's usually second or third on the list. Or you can now you can go to my website and you can click, there's an Amazon link on there now. So you can just click the link if you want to do it that way. And I just got on Buy with Prime. So you can buy with Prime and get it in 2 days. Or if you're local, I can drop it off or buy on the website, whichever's easiest for you.
Fantastic. And we'll put links to all that, to your site and the Amazon and all your social medias in our show notes. Thank you so much, Melissa, with Cover It. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this episode of Jacksonville Momcast, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and follow us at Jacksonville Momcast on all the social medias for show updates and more information about our guests. To learn more about what you heard today, visit our show notes at jacksonvillemomcast.com. Thanks for listening.